So, good afternoon. How's everybody doing out there?
All right.
Thanks so much for coming out. We're kicking things off here on the 15th anniversary of the American Folk Festival. My name is Blaine Wade. I work at the National Council for the Traditional Arts down in Washington, D.C., the organization that brought the National up here 15 years ago. And it's just been such a great partnership for us. And I'm just thrilled to be up here. We're going to have a wonderful discussion about this workshop's called Mouth Music, and we're going to look at different forms of vocal expression. A lot of these guys up there here know each other. I think they're going to mesh real well. It should be a really exciting discussion. I think it's going to be great, and it's just a beautiful day out here. So I think to get things started, I'd like to ask Shodekay to go a little retro for us and cue up some music. And Shodekay, why don't you put the needle on the record for us?
So was it a 33 or 45?
I'm trying to figure out RPMs up here. Well, that's great. Before we get back to Shodekay, who's a Baltimore institution, I just wanted to go through and introduce everybody real quick. So for those of you who were out here last night, you got a bit of taste of what Shodekay can do. He's a beatboxer, so we'll be looking at that. Next to him, we have Michael Mwenso coming to us. He's really a world traveler, but living in New York City. Brings some stuff of jazz in to consider. Looking at these kinds of vocal expression coming out of early jazz music and some connections we'll hopefully see to beatboxing and other forms. Next to him, we have a real favorite here in Bangor, the Brotherhood Singers coming from out of Kentucky. Going through real quick, we've got Sam, Demetrius, Rick, Stace, and Eric. Real thrilled to have them. And speaking of world travelers, all the way from Tuva, practically on the other side of the globe, we've got Alash. Come on around. So, getting back to you, Shodekay, I wanted to talk a little about, where you're coming from as a beatboxer. People always talk about the four elements of hip hop: DJing, MCing, b-boying, and graffiti. But what you're doing is considered the fifth element.
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of the unappreciated step cousin of hip hop, but nonetheless, it's still there, and it's always been there since the beginning with Dougie Fresh, Biz Markie, Buffy, the Human Beatbox from the Fat Boys, who are in many ways considered the first tier of pioneers of the art form and tradition within hip hop. And then I guess you would say I'm a more third generation practitioner.
So, what you'll hear a lot of beatboxing artists talk about is, hip hop itself kind of came out of emerged out of folks who are looking to express themselves maybe without certain economic resources, picking up records, remixing those to make new things. But beatboxing really takes that to another level, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you hear a lot of old interviews of Buffy from the Fat Boys and other pioneers say that, well, I couldn't afford a set of turntables or I couldn't afford a drum set, so I just started. And that's just that necessity acting as the catalyst for its creation. It's very similar to the jazz traditions in that regard and other African American vocal traditions. So just that being that collective momentum from that collective necessity acts as the ground for it moving forward.
What was it that got you into beatboxing? What got your interest going?
So, I mean, as a kid, everybody makes sounds when they're, playing with their toys, their cars, or their Transformers, and so I did that, and emulating sounds from movies, and actually, I could demonstrate some of these sounds. Can I have a little more sound on this microphone, please? Can we have a round of applause for the sound, man? That's great. Can I have more trumpet? That's beautiful. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like motorcycle sounds. You know, stuff like that, or basic sounds like your environment. That's another one I've always been able to do. But when I was introduced to beatboxing through the culture of hip hop, I was given a musical platform for what I was already doing. And so things just sort of transcended from there on.
So you've kind of touched on all kinds of interesting things you've been able to do as you've grown on an artist, but if you were to sort of lay down an old school hip hop beatbox for the folks here, what would that sound like?
Maybe something like, or the beat from Audio 2, Top Billing.
Well, that's great, and you know, one of the great things about Showdecay is also he's a real innovator, and he's always looking at different collaborations. And one of the things he's done is gone to Tuva and collaborated with these guys to my right a lot. So I kind of wanted to shift the tradition to them a bit, and I'm joined on stage by their manager, Sean Court. And Sean, could you explain a little about the Tuvan throat singing tradition?
So the gentleman to my right, Ayanol, Sam, Badidorju, Ondar, and Ayan Shirajik are the three members of Alash. They're some of the finest musicians of their generation, and they're bearers of a tradition that goes back so far in time that it goes to a time before human beings invented language. And just like you were talking about, Showdecay, with environmental sounds, the vocal music of Tuva and the instrumental music too, as you'll hear later in Alash's sets, really comes from nature. It really comes from the environment. It's human beings' early attempts before they had language to make their own mark in the sonic world around them. So you get different styles that reflect different things in nature, which in Tuva is fascinating. We have mountains and rivers and forests, and we have a massive variety of styles. So maybe just one or two different styles. For instance, Alash is going to show us an a cappella piece that they do as a trio. There's nothing inserted in their throats. There are no special effects being put on these microphones. This is just this is the natural way of singing. This is the folk music of the Tuvan people. It's a song about life in the nomadic. The Tuvans are nomads, and this is about life in the summertime when you move up high into the mountains where it's cool. It's called Songbirds of the Summer Pastures.
So I think when you hear Tuvan throat singing, it's sort of the same response people have to beatboxing, that initial, they can't be doing that with their one voice. And I was wondering if you could talk about the different layers of sound there. You've got, multiple sorts of drones there laying down the foundation and harmonies going on top of that.
Yeah, that's right. Just like beatboxing, there's tons of interesting parallels. But just like beatboxing is an art that the first reaction that people generally have is sort of something along the lines of, "Oh wow, I can't believe a person can do that." But then when you use your ears and you get into it, you realize that this is something that reflects an entire art form of which it's just a part, and it's an entire art form that's very cohesive. What you just heard is something that anybody with vocal cords can learn to do, but it's a part of the culture of tuba, it's a part of the folk music. And they're using the way that sound works to actually take away notes from their voices. This is the thing, everyone says, oh, tubans are singing 2 notes, or 3 notes, or 4 notes at once, and if you listen carefully, you're hearing these layers of sound. But what they're doing is they're just squeezing their muscles and using their air in the right way to actually take away sound that they don't want, and that leaves behind just the notes that they do want. And that's how they transform their voices in tons and tons of different styles, tons of different ways to create these sounds. So as you listen to tuba music throughout the rest of the festival, really open your ears, because you're going to find more and more stuff. There's layers that kind of go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole of tuba music.
Sure, so they're going to have...
So Badi Dorju is going to share with us one of the other styles of tuban singing just by himself. This will give you a little bit of a chance. In this style, what he's going to do is he uses his false vocal folds to get a really low rumbling sound, and that's very impressive. But at the same time, what I'd like you to listen for is he's going to articulate the vowel sound he's making with his mouth, and this is going to give him a really high note. It's called an overtone. And that note is going to make a melody, it's going to make a contour. So I'd like you to kind of listen for that juxtaposition between the very low bass note that stays the same, the drone, and the high melody of the overtone note. This is a style that's often associated with mountains in tuba, and it's called kargara.
I was wondering, hearing your explanation there, you were talking about how they train their vocal cords to control sounds. I mean, we think of practice and training in different ways, and I mean, it seems like a different sort of kind of training. How old were they when they started having to learn these techniques?
Well, everybody in the band, Badi, who you just heard, he started singing when he was about 4 years old. When he was 9 years old, Frank Zappa made a salad for him in Los Angeles in 1993. It's a true story. You can see it on YouTube. But I had almost started in about 2nd grade. Ian started a little bit later. Yeah, in one sense, it is, you have to go through training, but I don't really think it's different than any other musical tradition. Just like a violin player has to learn to finally articulate their fingers to play in tune on a violin, and they have to hold the bow and stuff. There's elements of aesthetic training, being a part of the tradition, listening to it and have it, in you. But then there's technical elements, and that's just the same as any sport or any music. They're just using different parts of their anatomy that normally we don't think about using consciously, and that's where kind of the tricky part is.
Well, thanks. I mean, what I want to do now is shift from, what we're seeing in tuba, which is really one of the oldest vocal styles you can find in the world, and now, going to the Brotherhood singers. And we're talking a lot about the voice as instrument, but also with an a cappella singing tradition, there's also just looking at the voice singing in a way without instrumentation, and the a cappella singing tradition they represent. So I guess just to start off, if one of you guys could talk a little about the history of a cappella singing in African American gospel going back to Jubilee quartets.
Yeah, our style originated with the Fisk Jubilee singers back in Nashville, Tennessee. And over the years, groups developed all over the country. The Golden Jubilee, and we had some such folk as Sam Cooke and his folks, as well as some folks that placed us under their wings, the Dixie Hummingbirds. We met in Canada, and they were impressed. Still trying to figure out where Kentucky was at the time. But impressed with our old style and flavor of a cappella gospel singing, and they introduced us with a low-tech cassette to a promoter in Spain, and that's what lifted us. But it all originated, as far as the group itself, with the Kentucky Arts Council and Folklight, and from there, the National Endowment of the Arts and the American Folklife, all those folks helped us to develop the flavor that we have. But it's still that old flavor, that old menu, the old style flavor that when we sing, we sing aloud for joy to our Lord, and we shout aloud unto the rock of our salvation, and showing our gratitude. He opens up our hearts and our minds with the attributes, the spiritual attributes that He placed in us, and nourish those each day with the gospel flavor that helps us to be able to reach into the hearts and minds of our listeners. And that's how we got to where we are today. And it's that flavor that comes only from Him that makes our delivery of His word pleasing to the taste buds of the soul.
Well, I think what they would love to hear now is have some of that old flavor shared with them. So is there a number you guys would like to perform for us?
Sure. This song is from a group that actually is established, the Canton Spirituals. Anybody ever heard of that? Okay, well then you're gonna hear about them now. Well, you may not know the name, but you may have heard this song. On my way home, 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 on my way home. Fix it, Jesus, Jesus, fix it like you said you would. Oh, I had to cry sometime. On my way home, I had to cry sometime. On my way home, sometimes with tears in my eyes, but I'm crying to you, Jesus, fix it like you said you would. Now friends get few sometimes. On my way home, friends get few sometimes. On my way home, I said friends get few, Lord. On my way home, but I'm calling on you, yeah. Fix it. Oh, fix it, Jesus. 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 In my home. Fix it, Jesus. On the job. Fix it, Jesus. In my heart. Fix it, Jesus. I need you to fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Anybody need fixing? Fix it, Jesus. Anybody need fixing? Fix it, Jesus. Cry out. Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, oh yeah. Fix it, Jesus. Anybody need fixing? Fix it, Jesus. Anybody need fixing? Fix it, Jesus. Come on, Lord. Fix it, Jesus. Come on, yeah. Fix it, Jesus. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I wanna do it. Yes, He will. I wanna do it. Yes, I know He will. Yeah. Yes, He make a way. Yes, when you're down and feeling blue, just call me Jesus to make a way for like you said you would.
Thinking about what we were talking about Lash a second ago, which is within one singer having multiple parts, but where you guys are coming from is the traditional 4-part harmonies. Could you talk a little about that?
Yeah, we all grew up in church, and some of us have been expounded into schools. Myself, I went to the School for Creative Performing Arts. We got other gentlemen here that have been to art schools, even taught classes in music. And just over time, being around the gospel, the scene, being in churches, you just develop a sense of the harmonies of songs. We would hear songs sung in church, and then we would just throw in that additional note there, and just over time. And with prayer, of course, with the Lord, and repetition, practice with us, we were to add the brotherhood seasoning to it, the brotherhood flavor to it. So even in that song with Canton Spirituals, it kind of, right when we went into the come on and the won't he do it, well, that's what we add extra to a song like that, so we can continue to have that Jubilee style and just have fun, just praising the Lord. Is it okay to have fun praising the Lord? I mean, so that's what we do. We do what the Lord has placed in our heart, and then we just try to put it with a nice little harmony style to it that makes it, like you said, pleasing to the taste buds of the soul.
So is it, I know Sam down there on the end provides the bass. Is it possible to sort of break out the different parts and then bring them together again? Sort of show the folks what you guys are doing in a song?
On my way home, yeah, on my way home, on my way home, on my way home, on my way home, on my way home. Fix it, Jesus, Jesus, fix it like you said you would. I had to cry sometime, on my way home. I had to cry sometime, on my way home. Sometimes with tears in my eyes, on my way home. But I'm crying, yeah, you would.
Now that was different, Blaine. We've never done that before.
You did great at it.
Now you guys know the secret, see? That's why we have to have everybody sing together.
Sounded pretty good solo too.
And actually, Blaine, we got interchangeable part. All of us can do the parts, even the bass. All of us can do the bass part, so we can do interchangeable parts. So maybe the guys like, got a cold or something, so we can change parts around.
But understand, our bass is the bass. I think my bass sounds like a trombone or something.
My bass sounds like this right here.
But it's important to have that kind of flexibility. Well, speaking of flexibility, I know you guys have kind of expanded into bringing into maybe some old R&B classics into what you're doing, and I think that's a good way to bring Michael into the conversation now, because even though we're looking back at early jazz, it's really, there's a lot of influence across these different genres, and especially I think with what Michael has looked at with early jazz, even influence in beatbox. Could you explain to people what we're talking about when we're talking about vocal expressions in jazz music and who your influences were?
Well, first of all, let's give a round of applause to all the gentlemen on stage. Incredible, beautiful, inspiring. Well, like you said, all the music is we're all connected by the music. First of all the music we sing is folk music. No matter what country it's from, they're singing their folk music. They're singing their folk music. We all sing their folk music. Folk music I'm singing is connected to their folk music because it's Afro-American music. So all of that comes out that tree is the children that spread from early sacred music, the Fifth Singers, the Jubilee Singers, Golden Great Quartet, the Swanson with Tony Dixon, Elmer Burns. And those are the architects of, because all of us, be it if we're performing jazz or funk or soul, we're all actually trying to imitate the church service. See, that's what Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers are doing, but that's also what James Brown is doing, and that's also what Charlie Parker was doing. We're imitating something that we are praising. You see, that is something that has been given to us that we present to the people. So we are all connected. The music is all connected because it's all one. So with me growing up in Sierra Leone and then coming to London and coming to America, it was all the music that I was listening to because you realize that it's all connected in a certain way. And that if you understand that, then it becomes simpler to embrace everything.
So, well, that's beautiful, thank you. So, when you hear somebody like Shodeke, though, performing, which is further down than you, what are you hearing that reminds you of what influenced you?
Well, he's using his humanity as an instrument in the setting of the rhythm section. So, and also doing a whole pile of other stuff on top of that. He's doing a whole lot of other stuff. He's gonna display to you to be the drummer. Because remember, all these instruments that we imitated or whatever, it's the voice that was the first main one. So we're all the instruments, the music instruments are imitating the voice. But he's doing the drums, but he's also doing expressions of the world. So actually, what he's doing is the bass, is the rock. You know, in a certain way.
Well, would you like to introduce the folks you have on stage with you and play something for us?
Okay, well first of all we have this incredible man. He's from South Africa and he's one of the great sounds of music. This is Mr. Vuyo Satashi, ladies and gentlemen. On the guitar we call him the World of Strings. He comes originally from Hawaii and he understands all about their music and their culture. This is Gabriel Schneider on the guitar. And behind me he was originally born in Kingston, Jamaica. Wait. Then the mother moved to Florida. We don't need to say anymore what happened. And now he's in New York. This is Russell Alexander Hall on the bass. Okay, so we'll do something in connection with, we'll do a song that represents the connections of all the music. So we're gonna do something by Fats Waller. That's right. Now Fats Waller is deep because Fats Waller, his father was one of the first preachers that, see, in the early 1920s, African-American people were living more down in New York in the Greenwich Village, and then they moved up because the Abyssinian Baptist Church moved up. And with that, you had a lot of their congregation. One of those was Fats Waller's father, who was a street preacher. So Fats Waller becomes this great artist playing secular music, the devil's music, but he also is able to always have a connection to the music that really grounded him. So this is a tune that he wrote called Let's Sing Again. And it sounds very much like what our brothers would do too. Fast one.
Let's sing again. Let music in your heart, but you must do your part. Don't you know? Let's sing again.
settings like New York, and earlier Alash was talking about the idea of imitating sounds in nature, but there's also, of course, sounds in the urban setting. It made me think of Showdecay of some of what you're doing coming out of Baltimore. Can you talk about how your environment there in a city like Baltimore has influenced what you do and what you perform?
Well, like for example, there's a folk tradition of music in Baltimore known as Baltimore club music. I don't know, has anyone in Maine ever heard Baltimore club? No? Maybe a little bit? Okay, a couple folk in the place, okay. And me being from the DMV area, Washington, D.C., I was born and raised in PG County, Washington, D.C. Go-go music is the folk tradition, the folk music of Washington, D.C. So what I'll do is, I don't know, give a quick little example of Baltimore club on one record, go-go on another record, and see if I can match beats between let's see if I can do this. Can I have a little more on this microphone, please, Mr. Soundman, because this is going to be kind of tricky. Okay, here we go. Club.
So, it's really hard to follow that. So, as I was thinking about this, and I'm sure, coming into this session and different things to discuss, I'm sure many of you folks out there, some of the folks on stage with me, have seen some of our song workshops or participated in some of our song workshops. With those, you don't see collaboration as much because you've got language barriers or repertoire barriers. But what's really fascinating when looking at musicians as sort of flexible and dexterous as these guys is how they can really be put in any environment and collaborate and experiment and go in different directions. In fact, I know Showdecay and Alash have done that before. So I was hoping for the last half hour of this, you guys let's loosen it up. Feel free to jump in, back each other, and let's just kind of see where we go.
I want to do something with Alash real quick. It's a little teaser for later tonight.
So, should they start or you got it?
They start.
All right, so Sean, do you want to introduce this piece?
I don't even know. It doesn't matter.
Okay, here we go.
on this idea of the sound environment and imitating sounds and how it influences what you guys are performing, I just wanted to open this up to Michael or our Brotherhood singers and see if you have any thoughts or experience with that in your repertoire or performances.
Would you explain to me again so I can hear you, so I can give you the right?
Yeah, so with the lots we've talked about, you're coming out of this country in Asia with a heritage of nomadic herdsmen and how that's influenced the rhythms and the sounds they're imitating. Shodike in Baltimore, and whether it's DC Go-Go, Baltimore club music, motorcycles. What about what you're doing with jazz in New York?
Well, the sounds of the outside have always been an influence to the sound that is also coming from inside. So there are many times when musicians have used sounds from outside. I mean, we could okay, we can do something. Can you do it?
Tree can make you feel something. Sister Rosetta Farr talking about this train. This train is circling to this train. Yes, this train.
round of applause.
So I'm real glad you brought up with somebody like Sister Rosetta Tharpe, somebody who's able to bridge blues and gospel. And that makes me think of, what I know you guys are trying to do with the Brotherhood Singers. We're talking about a cappella singing, unaccompanied singing, coming out of the sacred world, but there's a whole tradition in secular music too, and I think you guys have started to draw on that a bit. Can you talk about experimentation within what you're doing as a group? What about pulling in some of the R&B numbers you're doing?
I don't know. We just, of course, gospel being our roots. As we've grown, we've enjoyed tons of other genres, and of course, R&B is a part of it. So we kind of tried to do some R&B, some secular music to reach people. Once we get to them, we can dig inside their soul with the gospel.
So it just becomes another form of communicating.
Absolutely, that's exactly right.
Yeah, well, why don't you guys take us down a path with some of that and see where folks join in.
But when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Or in the hour of darkness, she is turning right from me, speaking the words of wisdom, let it be.
Singing and gospel music. R&B music. That's wonderful.
So So Sean, I know also what Alash is known for in terms of being this next generation carrying this on. Also with their collaborations, they, I've read about influences from as wide as Sun Ra and Jimi Hendrix. Where does that idea of innovation come into what they're doing?
Yeah, first and foremost, of course, we've collaborated a lot of times with Shota K live. We liked it so much that Shota K was the featured guest artist on our most recent album. Shota K's really become a favorite performer in Tuva. He's come to visit us a couple times here in Tuva. Here in Tuva. We're not in Tuva right now, are we? I'm in Tuva in here. But other than working with Sho, we toured a bunch with a group called Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. We were on their holiday album, which was kind of interesting to hear somebody throat sing Jingle Bells. But it works, man. Jingle Bells and banjo and throat singing. But the Sun Ra Orchestra also, that's a legend of jazz music, legends of American music. Those guys actually, the Sun Ra guys have come to Tuva as well. Due to some poor planning, they were left alone on a mountain in t-shirts and really cold weather. Yeah, sorry about that, Jazz. But other than that, we've done a lot of stuff with other bluegrass musicians. The cool thing about Tuvan music is that this is folk music. This is music of people, just like we're discovering with everything. This is music of people's connection with nature, people's connection with the divine around them and in themselves, the ways of revealing that through music. And even though on the surface Tuvan music looks like this really esoteric, crazy thing, it's so deeply connected to the roots of what music is and what music addresses for us as human beings across the planet, that somehow, as we're seeing just even on this stage, even though it's a very different tradition for most of the ears here, Tuvan music and Tuvan musicians find a way to let the music blend in with all these other traditions that we encounter. And at least from the standpoint of Alash, that's one of the really great fun things about doing all these collaborations, is finding these beautiful, spontaneous things that open up to our ears.
With all that talk about bluegrass and those kind of collaborations, is there a piece they remember from that they could take lead on? Okay, so that won't work today, but you should check that out. Next time Bela Fleck comes through your town with the Tuvan group. Well, I do have it on good reporting that I have it on good reporting that at a workshop in the past, you guys have connected on Amazing Grace. So I thought on a beautiful day like this down by the river, that might be a good way to close things out. So yeah. Thank you. Everybody else just follow it and let's see where we go.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear.
more big round of applause.
Thanks, guys. We got Soda Cake, Michael Melissa and the Shakes, the Brotherhood Singers, and a Lodge. Please check them out. They're performing all day. Soda Cake will be at the Lodge. Thank you guys so much.